program, starting with the first session, which will be taken by Dr. Shipoina ma'am. Sarika ma'am, I please request you for the brief profile of ma'am.
Thank you so much, distinguished guests, faculty members, and dear participants. It is my great privilege to introduce a distinguished researcher whose groundbreaking work in AI has positioned her among the world's leading scientists. Dr. Suparna Saha is an associate professor at IIT Patna's Department of Computer Science and Engineering. With her MTech and PhD from Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, Dr. Saha has made an extraordinary contributions to AI research, authoring over 450 papers with more than 13,000 citations. Stanford University has consistently ranked her among the top 2% of scientists globally in AI and image processing for 6 consecutive years, a testament for her exceptional research impact. Her expertise spans natural language processing, machine learning, deep learning, and biomedical information extraction, domains that are transforming how we approach innovation today. Dr. Saha's excellence has been recognized through prestigious fellowships including Fulbright Nehru Fellowship 2025, Humboldt Research Fellowship, and served Women in Excellence Award. She has won multiple Best Paper Awards at international conferences and serves as an associate editor for premier journals including IEEE, Transactions, and ACM. Dr. Saha brings both deep technical expertise and passion for advancing AI-driven solutions that address real-world challenges. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Suparna Saha.
I request our director ma'am to kindly felicitate our guests.
Once again, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Session is all yours, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The platform is all yours.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you, Sarika ma'am. Thank you, Director ma'am, for inviting me in this workshop. Today I am going to speak on this particular topic, measuring return on investment of innovation amplified by AI. So initially I will state you regarding how this innovation in AI is impacting the research on return on investment of many of the industries, and then we'll give you some brief introduction about the generative AI, which is the current trends in the field of AI. So what is generative AI? What are the challenges in generative AI? Like, we are blindly using generative AI, but there are some ethical issues in generative AI. So I will briefly discuss about those ethical issues of generative AI and how can we mitigate those ethical issues. Yeah, so basically you know that there is a AI boom, and everywhere in almost all the sectors we are blindly using AI as a toolkit. No, it could be a healthcare sector or a manufacturing sector, energy sector, any sector. Like, even if you have to analyze the patient's report, or if they have to take a critical decision regarding the patient's X-ray or MRI, or even AI tools are also helping in the surgery. So all types of tasks are now governed by the AI. Like, there are different types of robots which are helping different types of tasks. So there is a AI boom, and mostly we are talking about the AI, generative AI nowadays, because in 2023 ChatGPT was introduced. No, there is a basically startup in USA called the OpenAI. So this OpenAI company, they started their journey long back in 2018, but then they came up with different versions of this large language model, and this ChatGPT is the most sophisticated version, and we are all nowadays very often we are using this ChatGPT. No, we are taking their service. Like, whenever we have to write a like some essay, or maybe we have to get a summary of a particular English write-up, or you have to draft an email, we are using the chat GPT. So generative AI is basically a boom. And so as I mentioned that in almost all the sectors we are using blindly the AI. So AI adoption is expanding across all the sectors including manufacturing, healthcare, finance, and you can see like you can include any of your favorite field here and you will be able to see an application of AI there. Okay, so AI is everywhere. So now somehow AI is also impacting the return of investment of the companies. Okay, so they are reducing the manual cost, they are reducing the manual efforts, so they are helping in automation. So and by this process, by helping in the automation, they are trying to improve the return of investment of these companies. So you can see in the card that how these different tech companies, their return on investment are growing over the years. So if you compare with the 2016, with the help of the AI, all these companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Oracle, Meta, so they have a huge return on investment, in the current years. Like starting from the 2020, there is an exponential increase in the return of investment, and this is only because of uses of AI, which makes it possible by making everything automated. So what is return of investment? So this is a kind of a metric. Like I don't know, like maybe the previous speakers must have taught you that when we are talking about the artificial intelligence or machine learning, like if you are designing your own toolkit, so how can we evaluate your model? So there are different metrics, like accuracy is a metric, precision, recall, F-measure, these are different evaluation metrics. Like in machine learning, we used to have two types of data, training data and the test data. So we can first build our model on the training data, and then we can test our model on the testing data, and we often report the accuracy on the test data. Okay, so the accuracy, precision, recall, F-measure, so these are the popularly used metrics to check the quality of your model. Okay, so very similar to that, return on investment is a popularly used metric to check the whether your company is doing good, or there is a company is making profit, or company is or not doing good. So in order to quantify this return of investment is a very popularly used metric. So it is a metric that investors often use to evaluate the profitability of an investment and to compare returns across multiple investments. Like for example, Amazon has many products. Alexa is one product, but Amazon has many other products. Similarly, if you see Google, so Google has many products. No, Google has Google Translator, Google has Google Search Engine, Google has many many other Google Map, many other products, and where Google is investing money for each of these software products. So now Google wants to evaluate which product is giving them more profit. So this return on investment is basically a kind of a metric by which they can evaluate the quality of a particular product. So but there are some limitations also. So this ROI does not take into, it is only gives you the profitability of a particular product, but it will not consider the whether this is beneficial for the society or the risk factors, or maybe the time when the investment was done, maybe the situation, the society, somehow the economic condition was not stable. So all those factors are not taken into consider when at the calculation of the ROI. Okay, because maybe these NGOs are also developing many products, but they have huge societal benefits, but those factors are not taken into consideration in ROI. So it is a popular profitability metric used to evaluate how well an investment has performed. So obviously, you know that what are the factors which are affecting the ROI? So obviously one thing is that whether the company is investing the money in the current trends. Like obviously the company is AI based and the company works in the IT sector. If in the current era in 2025, company is not working in generative AI or in the agentic AI, then maybe the company is not focusing on the current trends. So company has to work on the agentic AI because that is the what is the basically the research community is working on. So whatever models they have to build, they have to focus on developing by using the agentic systems. That is the current technology. So they have to learn agentic systems and they have to utilize the agentic systems for building purposes. Similarly, economic conditions always affect, no? Like obviously the companies which are in developed countries, their ROIs are much higher compared to the underdeveloped countries. Then operational efficiency. So if the company has a very stable or the streamlined process or a very effective management system, then that company's ROI will be higher than the other company where there is a unstable system. And also capital allocation. So where the company, if the CEO or the manager has a good vision and if he can foresee the challenges or the where should they focus more, what would be the society's need or the pupils' need, accordingly if he can set the priority, then that will also improve the ROI. Now as I already mentioned that it has many advantages. Advantage is that a company can decide like which product is making more profit. Like if the company has multiple products, where they should focus more, which is giving them the maximum profit. So that can be easily measured. This is a quantitative metric. Recent times, basically Amazon has closed their Alexa. In USA they had a big Alexa team and Amazon has shut down their Alexa team. Somehow Alexa team was not giving them good ROI. Okay, so and that must be based on their ROI analysis only. So and also what I mentioned that it is ignoring many other factors like the risk factor and also societal benefits, and also this there are many non-financial benefits of a particular product, so that it does not consider at all. It is only considering whether the monetary profitability, but other factors it does not consider. But we are mostly interested in innovation ROI because each company is having their R&D cell, and basically almost all these IT innovation ROI, like how much money is invested for the innovation purpose, whether they are investing in coming up with some new products or not. So what is the innovation ROI? Gains from the innovation minus the innovation investment by the innovation investment. So how much money they are investing for the innovation purpose and what is the gain from the innovation. So that is the innovation R&D, innovation ROI. And there are several factors which are what is the gains from innovation. So this includes new ROI or innovation R&D. So they want to cover two aspects. One is that they want to generate new products, and also they want to modify the current product. So in AI, often we have to search the search space. Like if you have to solve a particular problem, there are two ways. One is that explore and the exploitation. So explore means that you go for some new product. Okay, and exploit means you modify your current product so that you can meet the expectation of the customers. So customers are giving some feedback, and based on the customers' feedback, you modify your product so that your product quality can be improved. So exploitation means that you just try to improve the current product quality, and the explore means you try to generate some new product only. So innovation ROI covers both aspects, both explore and the exploitation.
So does it take into the consideration time period also?
Yeah. So time period is also a factor, because for exploration you need more time, and the exploitations can be, maybe it takes less time. So this is a diagram taken from this. You can see the source figures. This is a figure of 2023. So this diagram shows that we know how much money spent by each country for the innovation R&D. Okay, so this innovation R&D is very important, and whether countries are spending good amount of money for their innovation R&D. So you can see that there is a data according to recent entity data report. So 21% of the organizations consistently meet their innovation goals. The gap between intent and impact is huge. Like they really want to do something new, but only 20% of the organizations they are able to do something new. Okay, so maybe all industries, they really want to develop some new product, but ultimately only 20% industries are come up with some new ideas. And also global R&D investment reached USD 2.8 trillion in 2.23. However, only 6% of CEOs report being satisfied with the outcomes of the innovation spend. So CEOs are not happy with their outcomes. So they are expecting something more, but maybe their R&D team is not coming up with better ideas.
And what is India's?
India is basically only 0.64. So if this is data of very old data, 2021 data. So it shows that India, as a percentage of GDP, India is spending 0.64% in innovation R&D. So it's alarming. So when this Israel and South Korea, they are spending a lot of money, 6.3%. We are spending 0.64%. Yes. Yeah. So this was just research on investment. So, but as I mentioned that in the current AI boom is on generative AI. So that is we are popularly using these large language models like GPT-5 is now there by OpenAI. We have Google's Gemini, or we have the this Claude. Okay, so these are very popularly used large language models. So these are very similar. They have very good understanding of English. Okay, so they are trained on all the data which are available online, BBC, CNN, all these newspapers, then Wikipedia pages. So whatever data is available in the internet freely, this OpenAI collected them, scroll them. Okay, and then OpenAI have done some pre-processing, like maybe remove all the URLs, remove the personal information. So this way they basically annotated the data, pre-processed the data, and then they train their model using this huge amount of data, so that the model will have a very good understanding of these languages. Okay, so now the model will act as a language model. Why these models are called language models? Because the models have a very good understanding of English. They understand the English grammar. They have a very good understanding of the vocabulary of the English. Not only English, Spanish, all the most spoken languages, they have very good understanding. So wherever resources are available in the internet, so language models have very good understanding of those languages. Mostly English, Spanish, French, Germany, so all these languages, they have very good knowledge. So that There are two types of language models. Okay, so whatever models we are using, language models we are using, we can categorize them into two categories. One is small language models, another is called the large language models. So if they have parameters like, each model is very huge in size, and basically these are called neural models, neural network based models. So there is a architecture called the transformers. So transformers are encoder decoder based architectures. So for example, if you want to translate a sentence from Hindi to English, how it will be done, like first you have to encode your Hindi sentence into a vector representation. Okay, so this will be done through a encoder, and then this vector will be given to a decoder. Okay, and the decoder will generate the corresponding English sentence word by word. So this transformer is a encoder decoder architecture. Okay, and so basically all these language models, the basic skeleton is the transformer. And then basically they keep on increasing the number of layers in the transformers. Okay, because these are neural models, and neural network is somehow following our human brain structure. In our human brain, there are many neurons, and neurons are somehow connected with each other, and they used to pass messages to each other. So this, following our brain like structure, neural network model is built. Okay, so so basically all these language models, their basic skeleton is the transformers. Only difference is that in number of layers. So if you are increasing the number of layers, number of parameters will also increase. So if the number of parameters means number of weight matrices. So if the number of weight matrices are less than 100 billion, then those are called the small language models. Otherwise, those are called the large language models. So the examples of small language models are, for example, initially OpenAI released the GPT-1, then Google released the BERT, then Robata, Transformer Elmo, GPT-2, again by OpenAI, Megatron LM by NVIDIA, Meta released Llama, then DeepMind released Chinchilla. So these are all small language models. Mostly these are open source, like you can freely download them, and you can modify their architecture as well. And the large language models, you can see how large they are. Like they are huge in size, and it's often difficult in our academic setup to store them in a GPU server. Like in our academic setup, maximum maybe we have a GPU of 80 GB. Okay, so there it is very difficult to store these models, because these models are very heavy. GPT-3 is having 175 billion, Palm is having 540 billion, Palm E is having 562 billion, GPT-4, they have not released any paper also for GPT-4. So many parameters in the language models. So this is the history of generative AI. So that what happens in 1950, there was a Turing test which was proposed. So this Turing test means that that time researchers started designing some kind of chatbot. Chatbot used to generate a response, and also suppose there is a human response. So the Turing test means that if a human can differentiate between the response by the AI system and also response by the human. Okay, is it possible to differentiate between whether it is the response is coming from the AI or the response is coming from the human being? So that was the Turing test. Then Dartmouth conference was proposed in 1956. So it was the first AI conference where all the AI researchers were gathered, and there was an AI conference. Then expert systems, this concept was coined in 1980s. So like it is a collection of different systems. Okay, Deep Blue is a reinforcement learning based system, and it is a chess playing robot, and this system basically beats the Kasparov in 1997. So this is the first gaming system which beats Garry Kasparov in 1997. Then in 2012, researchers proposed how to handle the image data, because before that it was very difficult to handle the image data. So they proposed the AICTE-ATAL. So AICTE-ATAL is basically a huge image processing software. So you can give an image and you can get good features of the image. So this AICTE-ATAL is very popularly used for image processing. So which was proposed in 2012. Now in 2020, OpenAI started its journey with GPT-3. So GPT-3 is the first large language model by OpenAI. And then in 2023, GPT-3 again come up with their next product, GPT-4 and the ChatGPT. And finally, currently what we are seeing, now the current era is basically, this is the era of agents. So basically we are not only using a single LLM or a single small language model, rather we are working in a agentic AI. So basically these small language models are the agents, and we are doing a tool calling, and then we are integrating the tools. So this is again a kind of a history. So before 1950, researchers of AI, if you see, so researchers of computer science, they were mostly working on the hardware, because that time the focus was mostly on building a sophisticated computer system. Because if you can build a good computer system, then only that time people are not thinking about the intelligence. They are simply building on how to make a hardware and software systems. From 1950 onwards, they started thinking about the artificial intelligence. That okay, now the machine building is done. Can we infuse the intelligence inside a machine? So from 1950 onwards, they started. They coined the term artificial intelligence. Okay. Then this neural network concept was proposed in 1982. Neural network. So by Hopfield neural network, this was proposed in 1982. Then in 1986, there was an algorithm backpropagation, which is a very popular algorithm in neural network. Like you have to first calculate the error. Okay, and then the error will be backpropagated in up to the first layer of the network. So that was proposed in 1986. Then, as I mentioned, the IBM developed this reinforcement learning based approach in 1997, which defeats this Kasparov in 1997. Then in between, some robots were built by using reinforcement learning. Sony Aibo, Kismet robot, these were developed. Now in between, this Apple Siri was also introduced in 2020, the chatbot, the Apple Siri was introduced in 2020, and in 2012 AICTE-ATAL was introduced. Now in 2017 is very popular in natural language processing research, because there is a paper by Google, Attention, that is all you need. So in the text processing, it is very difficult. Like when you have a long text, then it's very difficult to handle the long text. Okay, like if suppose there is a sentence, the shape who worked for a long time in Delhi has started his own business in Patna. If you have such a long sentence, so in order to understand the meaning of such a long sentence, that who refers to that shape, So, this is called the long context, okay, long-term dependency. So, to understand this kind of long-term dependency, we need to have a, long context size window, okay. And this transformer basically gave an idea called the attention. So they basically first told that you should focus on few words in the window, okay. Maybe all the words are not important. You can set a priority that only few words in the window are important, and you can ignore the rest of the words. So that is the attention, that is all you need. So this was the paper by FDP AI of Google, and they proposed this. This is the paper in 2017. Then that based on once the transformer was developed, then the language models started building. So from 2019 onwards, all are language models like GPT-1, BART, GPT-3, all are language models. Yeah.
How this 2017 Transformers model is different from the regular Google search, which is also done on this is the keywords that you put.
No, so that is a information retrieval. So there you are simply searching your Google query, like for example, Apple Taj Mahal, and it is simply doing a page ranking. So that algorithm is called the page ranking. So it used to rank all the web pages based, like it is doing a searching. You are giving a query and it will search whether your query is relevant with a with the web pages or not, and then it will rank all the web pages. It will show you all the web pages in the rank wise manner. But here in the transformer, it is basically good for all the natural language processing tasks. Like for example, you have given a long text, you need to generate the summary, or maybe you want to generate a essay, you want to write an essay. So for all the natural language processing tasks like reading comprehension, question generation, question answering, or the machine translation, sentiment analysis, emotion recognition, for all the NLP tasks, the transformer is used where you need to understand the text and then you have to answer it. So where the main concept is the attention, that when you have to understand the text, maybe prepositions, conjunctions, articles, those are not much used. So you need to focus on only few important words, like maybe the nouns, verbs, these are important. So where to focus on? So this will be decided by the attention. Okay, so attention is basically setting your priority. So you just focus on some important words in the sentence. So this is called the attention. And then once the transformer was introduced, based on the transformer, all these models started developing GPT-1, BART, GPT-3, but in between, the TensorFlow is also introduced. TensorFlow is the library functions, all the library functions in Python, which we are using for NLP tasks like TensorFlow and Keras. So if you want to work in a natural language processing, you should have a very good understanding of TensorFlow and Keras, because almost all the library functions are available in the TensorFlow and Keras. You do not have to write your own code. Rather, all the codes are available in TensorFlow and Keras. Okay, so that was introduced in 2015. AlphaGo is also a reinforcement learning based chess playing game. Okay, chess playing basically player. Then from 2020 onwards, researchers started working on the diffusion model. So what is diffusion models? That you give a text and you generate the images. Okay, now it is a text to image generation task. Until now, transformer was doing text processing. Now you want a generate images from descriptions. These diffusion models are very popular. Consumer software application in history just after 2 months. Okay, so just imagine the return on investment. So this has become the fastest growing consumer software immediately after its release, within 2 months. So many people started using it. all the students, like I will talk about the ethical concerns, all the students in USA and Europe, they also started using it for doing their homework. Okay. So then, you know, in 2020, Elon Musk, so his company developed this Tesla, so basically AI driven car. Then, but in between, people, whenever the generative AI was becoming popular, researchers understood that there will be some unethical practices of AI as well, because deep fake videos, fake audios, fake images, those are also, you know, becoming very popular. Like many, you know, people started using unethical practices of generative AI. So how to stop them? So there is in the European Union is the first one who made this AI Act. Okay. So now in the European Union, whenever you are doing some AI research or you are submitting your AI project, you must have to adhere to those AI Act. Okay. So in 2025, we have seen a new kind of technology. You know, in China, there is a startup called the DeepSeek. So this DeepSeek came up with an idea called the reasoning models. So till now, whatever models I talked about, the language models, they are very good text. I mentioned, like for text summarization, for reading comprehension. Like suppose there is a passage given, and now from after reading the passage, you have to answer some questions. Like what you used to do, you do in your English. But you know, if you just try to remember in your class 9 or class 10 English question paper, there used to be a unseen passage, and then after reading the unseen passage, you have to answer some questions. This is called the reading comprehension. So this reading comprehension task or essay generation task or summarization task. So all these tasks are very quickly done by the by this ChatGPT or any of the language models. But you know, those language models are not very good in solving mathematical problems. Like if you will ask it to solve a maths Olympiad question, or maybe if you will ask it to do your tax calculation, suppose you want to submit your income tax, and you are asking it to calculate your tax details, you give your all details and you ask it to calculate your income tax or doing some GST calculations, it will not be able to do that. Okay, so it has no reasoning capability. So whenever it has to reason step by step, it is not like the existing GPT 3.5, GPT 2, GPT 1, those models are not very good in doing the reasoning problems, in solving the reasoning problems. So the DeepSeek, the Chinese startup, they first came up with this idea that can we also, now it is the time to think about the general common intelligence. So language models are very good in language understanding, language generation, all these tasks, general classification tasks. But can we think beyond this? Like now human-like intelligence. So can we also infuse the reasoning capacity inside a language model? So they build up with this idea and they develop a reasoning model. So now this reasoning model with less number of parameters outperform ChatGPT, okay, and it has also some logical reasoning, mathematical reasoning, okay. To have this kind of questions, no, like A is the brother of B, B is the sister of C, then what is the relationship between A and C? So this kind of logical reasoning questions, if you will give it to DeepSeek will be able to answer it. So the Chinese DeepSeek overpasses OpenAI in 2 weeks. So immediately after its release, DeepSeek became a very hot topic, and it surpasses the ChatGPT also. So now after like what next? So next, obviously, people will keep on working on reasoning, because you know, multilingual reasoning is another important thing, because what researchers have found is that whenever these reasoning models are very good in English, in Chinese, in Spanish, but they do not reason well in the Indian languages. Okay, so if you have to solve reasoning problem in the Indian languages, you need to develop your own model. Okay, in the Indian context, we really have to develop our own reasoning models. So that is the, maybe the in next few years, we as Indian researchers have to work on developing our Indian reasoning models. Yeah, so this I have already covered. These are the various LLMs. You can just see how many are there. Almost all companies have come up with their own large language models. You can see that every month there is a new LLM in the market. Every month, in a year, not only in a year, every month you will see one or the other LLM. Okay, like starting from 2019, initially Google come up with T5, then the multilingual T5, and now you can see so many: DeepSeek, Grok by the Elon Musk company, then Mistral, Llama, DeepSeek version 2, Gemini by Google. So many. Every month one or the other LLM is coming up. Yeah, so moving forward, so why we are so popularly using LLM? So as I mentioned, that LLMs are already trained with huge amount of data, okay, and that is the advantage of LLM, that now when you are asking LLM to solve a new task, you do not have to train LLM again. Like that was the problem with machine learning. Like for the machine learning model, whenever you have to solve a new task, you have to again generate a new machine learning model. But as LLMs are already trained on a huge amount of data, you do not have to train the machine learning model again. You do not have to train the LLMs again. So there is a paper called the LLMs are few shot learners. Like we human beings are few shot learners. Like whenever there is in our math book, suppose a new topic is being introduced. So in the math book, initially there used to be some examples given, like in this chapter, how to solve this kind of problems. So with those few examples, we easily understand how to solve the examples of this particular chapter. Those examples are sufficient for understanding, and then we can easily start doing the exercise. So very similar to that, this for LLMs also, or you just give few examples for the new task, and from those examples it will understand the problem statement and it will start solving those problems. So this is called the in-context learning, okay? So as it has a understanding of it has somehow general common intelligence, it has the in-context learning. Okay, and giving instruction to LLM and now you do not have to give instruction to LLM in any programming language, like not in Python or not in C or not in C++. You have to give a instruction to LLM. You have to give instruction to LLM in a natural language, that you solve this particular task. Okay, in proper English language, you can give a summary for you. You do not have to write a Python script for that. It's a simple natural language instruction to LLM, and this is called the prompting. Okay, the way you are giving instruction to LLM in natural language is called the prompting. So prompts can be very simple, or if you are solving a reasoning problem, for example a mathematical reasoning problem, then it could be very complex also. Like you can give step-by-step instructions. That suppose you are giving it a instruction to solve a mathematical problem and you are very kind enough, so you have also mentioned it the step-by-step procedure to solve the problem. That in the first step you do this, in the second step you do this. Okay, so for example Fibonacci series, you are asking it to solve the Fibonacci series, so you can give the step-by-step instructions. So this way the prompts can be as simple as a simple question, like given the sentence, tell me the sentiment expressed in the sentence, or it could be complex like a detailed prompt. So prompt engineering is a very important research area nowadays, like how efficiently we can give instruction to LLMs. because like if you will not be able to give proper instruction to LLM, the performance will not be, the performance heavily depends on the prompt engineering. Okay, we have seen that slight changes in the prompt engineering varies hugely the performance. So you can see our survey paper on this prompt engineering, a systematic way of prompt engineering in large language models, techniques and applications. So we have written this survey, and here we have basically summarized all types of prompts. Okay, so there are researchers are working on this particular topic for a long time. So you can go through this paper and you can understand different types of prompts.
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Because I saw your name, so you're a part of this publication. What makes a prompt a good prompt?
What makes a prompt a good prompt? Very nice question. So basically, a very clear problem statement, no ambiguity.
Okay.
Exactly like what exactly the machine has to do. Clearly, you state your problem statement. Yeah, and also maybe a few short examples.
But as an example, if we have to, let's say, write about this session,
Yeah.
or create a PPT for this session, what should be the prompt that I should say?
Uh,
I'm a PhD student working in a college, preparing for a session.
Yes. So yeah, so my suggestion is that you start with a prompt and then you keep on refining your prompt based on the feedback. Okay, so there is a human feedback. So this is also one kind of a prompt engineering. So prompt refinement. So initially start with a prompt, you get the output. Now suppose you are not happy with a part of the output. So now you understood that maybe it is not able to understand a phrase of your prompt. So that means it is an indicator that you need to rephrase that part of your prompt. So in the next iteration, you rephrase that part. So this is called the prompt refinement with feedback.
And we'll have to do it multiple times.
Yeah. That is what we are doing. So we are starting with a prompt. We are seeing the output. We are manually evaluating, and then we are again improving the prompt. So this we keep on doing until and unless we get satisfied. So this is very popularly used process. Yeah. So the prompt refinement with human feedback, So this is also one way of doing the prompt refinement. Yeah, because see, it's very you can be very precise in writing the prompt. Very precisely, unambiguously, you can write your prompt, but you don't know now what machine is whether machine is getting you correctly or not. So that's why it is always you should give a feedback.
Multiple iterations.
Yeah, multiple iterations. That is what we are doing. That is what we are doing, at least in our labs. Because ultimately we want a good output from the LLM. And these are some traditional prompting technique. One is called the zero-shot prompting. So zero-shot prompting means that that you do not give any example. For example, translate English to French. Task description, but you do not give any example. Then directly you tell the English word cheese and you ask it to translate. Then there is a one-shot prompting, translate English to French, okay? And then you give one example, like this is the example given. And you ask it to translate from cheese to English. Now this is the third, this is called mode. This is the few-shot example, few-shot prompting, task description, then few examples, and then which you want to translate. Now these are the promptings for the reasoning capability. Okay, so if you have a task with reasoning capability, then you have to solve it step by step, like some mathematical reasoning problem you have. So you have to solve it step by step. So then you have this chain of thought reasoning. So chain of thought reasoning means you give all the step by step instructions, how the problem should be solved. Step 1, sum up the numbers. Step 2, divide the numbers by the total number of numbers. This way maybe you can calculate the average. So this way you give a step-by-step instructions in a chain of thought reasoning. Now, tree of thought reasoning means that, you know, whenever in mathematics we used to solve a particular problem, maybe there are multiple possible ways, no, to solve a particular problem. So maybe initially in a first step you take multiple initial steps. Okay. Now you give the first step, output of the first step, and the original problem statement to LLM only, and you use LLM as a judge. You know, LLM is always used very good in judging. Okay, so you ask LLM that if this is the first step and this is the original problem statement, give me whether this first step is right or wrong. Okay, so out of these three options, LLM will basically give you a which one is the best, which one is the medium, which one is the worst. It will rank. Okay, so this ranking will help you to further explore it. So the best path you will explore further. So this way you have maybe initially the LLM has multiple possibilities in mind. So it will explore three branches. Then again it will re-evaluate all these branches, and it will further it will go down. So basically it will develop a tree like breadth first search or depth first search, what we used to do in our AI classes also. Very similar to that, it will try to explore the entire tree, and it can also backtrack. So suppose at a particular point it is not able to solve the problem, so it can always go back and start with some root node, with some parent node. So this tree of thought prompting is very popularly used for solving some very complicated task. And all these steps are called thoughts because it is thinking and then it is trying to solve a particular problem. Then there is a self-consistency. So self-consistency means that it is again a chain of thought. Like now it is like for a particular problem you have multiple possible ways for solving the problem. You have suppose a mathematical problem in hand and you are solving it in multiple different ways. You are getting different answers. Okay, so when you are solving the mathematical problem you will be getting multiple different answers. Okay, and finally you are doing a majority voting. Okay, you are saying that which part, like majority, what is majority saying? So the majority voting of all these outputs. So that is basically called the self-consistency. That you have a mathematical problem, you basically explore multiple possible paths and then you take the majority votes.
When we say majority vote here, it is the sorry. When we say majority vote, the machine itself is doing it, right?
All LLMs is doing it. All there is no human. There is no human.
So multiple outputs. Then
mostly it is used in the classification task. For example, suppose ultimate output is binary,
okay.
or suppose integer output. So one has given you 1, another has given you 2, third has also given you 2, fourth has given you 2. So the majority is saying 2, so 2 is now.
The output that we will send. Okay.
Just asking, what is the basis of selection here to majority? How does it
So yeah, that is what I say. So we have assumed that maybe the final output, there is a correct output and there will be some wrong output. So if the correct output is outputted by multiple branches, then we will select that output. Like what we used to do in our voting system also, na? Like there are two parties, and how many people are giving vote for individual parties? We count the votes. So similarly, we have these branches, and these branches is giving some output. So whether if the outputs are different, then there will be a problem. But if the outputs are same, then a single output will have more number of votes. So then that will be selected. So that is giving us more probability. Let's see, in multiple possible ways also we are getting the same output. Now this graph of thought, so graph of thought is very similar to tree of thought only, but in tree of thought somehow nodes are not connected. Okay, in graph of thought the nodes are connected and they basically form a graph. So for example, see this one, the word earthquake comes from the words earth and quake. The word earth means ground and the word quake means shake. If this is the passage, then we are forming this kind of graph. So like maybe the idea is that whenever some paragraph is there, we used to form a graph in our mind. Okay, and then we used to traverse the graph to generate the answer. So here also machine is forming a graph, and then by traversing the graph the machine is generating the answer. Okay, so now it is simply a graph, not a tree, and by generating the graph it will traverse the answer. And then there is a program of thought, that instead of when you are giving the step-by-step instruction to the machine, you do not give simply in writing, like for example you ask in Fibonacci sequence, it follows the rule that each number is equal to the sum of the preceding two numbers. Assume that the first two numbers are 0 and 1, what is the fifth number? So either you can give like this, the first number is 0, the second number is 1, like this. Otherwise it can also generate a Python script. And then by using the Python script also, it can generate the output. So it has been shown in the literature that Python script is more better, like in better prompt in generating the output. So if you are giving the logic in the Python script, the machine can easily understand the logic in a better way than giving in this way, in simply writing in a natural language text.
For majority of the people who don't know this language,
Yeah.
it's better to write in the language format.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, but if you know this, if you are giving in this format, then you will get better results.
So both the questions are same, but the answers are
Yeah,
different.
both the questions are same, but answers are different. Yes. Somehow it is not able to generate the correct output. Okay, so I think you already know some useful generative AI tools, but I am just repeating. So, for text generation and the summarization, mostly we are using these tools, Gemini. Then there are many open source tools like Llama from Meta. Then this Gemini from Google, Claude from Anthropic. So these are some open source tools which we are using for text generation and the summarization. Like for example, you can give a prompt like write a 60-word essay on social impact of AI in social science. So it will generate a essay on that particular topic. Any topic you give a word restriction also, it will count the word, and according to that word restriction only it will generate the answer. Okay. So then you can give a passage and you can ask for the summary. Okay. Summarize the following text in less than 20 words. So it will just summarize the text in as per your within your word limit. Then you can also upload the PDF. Okay, sometimes maybe you have to analyze your PDF file. So you can also upload your PDF file and you can ask question from the PDF file. So this Claude, Adobe Assistant, ChatGPT, all these they have the capability of processing the PDF file. So like for example, we have basically uploaded the resume of a student, and then we are asking that can you tell some options for the ideal career for this person with proper justification. Okay. So this is the, you can upload a PDF file and then you can ask for the proper justification. Then if you want to write some program, that is also possible. So there is a Tableau from the Salesforce, Visually from the AI powered data analysis. So these are basically Gen AI tools which can also write code for you. Like you give a prompt Like even GPT-4o, Claude, they also can write Python script for you. They can, like, you give a prompt to generate the Python script, they can write Python script for you. Like for example, for Visually, what we have done is that we have uploaded a CSV file where data is there, and then we are giving a prompt, analyze the given data. So it is writing this kind of code for analyzing the data and then giving us some analysis also, like which words are more dominant in this particular data file. So it is giving us some analysis. Identify the most common words used in the question and the question summary. So it is doing some analysis. It is giving us the word cloud also. So all kind of analysis are being done by Visually. And the Python script is also output.
From the Tableau.
From Visually. Yeah, Visually is output. Then there are some good tool like Semantic Scholar, connectedpapers.ai, mirrorthink.ai. These tools are very popularly used for literature survey. Like if you want to do some literature survey related to your particular topic, you can use them. So for example, this connectedpaper.ai is much better than Google Scholar also. Here you can search with a particular topic, like suppose you want to work on hate speech detection. So you search with your topic hate speech detection. So you will get all the papers which are related to hate speech detection on the left hand side, and you can click on one paper, you will get their abstract and the details there. And not only that, you will also get a visual representation. Like this is the main paper, this is the central paper, this is the center, and all the other papers are forming a graph-like structure. And why the node density is varying? The node density depends on the citations. So if the paper is more cited, then the density is high. Like this paper is very much cited, Lee 2021. This is a well cited paper. And if the node density is small, means the paper is less cited. Okay? Yes. Yes. Connectedpapers.ai. This is free. So you know that, and you can now, depending on your need, you can select it. Select the papers that you want to cite.
And can you also download this network diagram?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Ma'am, can we have this hands-on of this?
Sorry, I don't know. I don't know. Please try. Can you try now? Yeah, just try this. Login is required. I don't know.
Is it connectedpapers.ai?
Yeah. Connect papers, not AI.
So ma'am, if you are using this connected paper, suppose a network diagram is generated. If I'm able to download this, what should be the source if I'm putting this in a paper?
You want to put this in the paper? Why?
Not this. If the paragraph I'm taking, say analysis, just I'm taking.
No, this is the abstract of the paper.
Summary, right?
No, this is the abstract of the paper.
Not a summary.
This is not summary. This is the paper's abstract. They are not generating anything. They have just shown you the abstract so that you can select.
Do we have to put link or what?
Connectedpapers.ai, it is not coming.
No, it's coming.
Now you type it in a topic.
Okay.
Here, for example, type stereo head toward identifying stereotypical bias. Type this one. Anything is coming. Type this topic, stereo head toward identifying stereotypical bias and target group hate speech detection. My student has put this. So
I will have a philosophical question. I used to do a lot of financial analysis of companies earlier when this was not there. Ever since AI came, I started feeding a lot of PDFs, interview transcripts, everything to AI. Give me a summary of the tone of the management. Tell me how the performance has been in the last 5 years or 10 years. Is it a good investment idea and stuff? I would get a 3 to 4 page summary, which was great. What I have noticed, and this is maybe a bias on my view, is because of ease of such tools, my aptitude to actually analyze something in more detail has gone low. I'm
True.
completely back to
I
my
completely
system.
agree with you.
And my portfolio started to follow.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Now, like, my confidence is so low. Even sending an email, if I will not copy paste it, and if I will not ask the ChatGPT to rewrite it, I do not get confidence in sending the email. A small line, maybe 3-5 lines of email.
You're dependent.
Yeah, I am more dependent on ChatGPT. Before sending a small email also, I know it is correct, grammatically correct. I have confidence on me. But still I will do copy paste, ChatGPT rewrite. Now ChatGPT will simply do nothing. Maybe hallucinations, include some hallucinations. Then also I will do copy paste, but it will give me confidence. Now it is verified by LLM.
Which is a problem because you don't know if it is verified properly.
Huh?
You can.
लेकिन मैम मेरा तो philosophy चल रहा है
Like this is I mean, how many papers we can like use it for, or there is some foundation of it, or this is the paid version we have to take. There is anything out there or no? Because I'm able to find.
Okay, no, it depends on you, now, ma'am. Once you will get the graph, now you can select. That is the beauty, no? Like maybe you can select the most recent one or most dense one. Like most dense one means the most cited ones. So you can now select. This is giving you a very good visualization. So now you can select that whether.
I was able to fetch.
Very good.
I was able to fetch.
So now you can easily understand ना कि आपको कौन सा चाहिए. आपको ये देखिए यहाँ पर एक ये वाला जो बड़ा वाला है ना, उसका साइटेशन ज्यादा है, ये सब छोटा छोटा है. हाँ अभी आप सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि आपको कौन सा, जैसे आप यहाँ पर क्लिक करेंगे ना तो यहाँ पर आपका एब्स्ट्रैक्ट दिखेगा. एक पे क्लिक कीजिए, आपको यहाँ पर एब्स्ट्रैक्ट दिखेगा.
करेक्ट.
हाँ ये देखिए ये वाला पेपर आ जाए. हाँ
मैम, अगर हम जैसे टॉपिक भी डाल दे तो उसके
टॉपिक से भी हो जाएगा.
We don't know actually.
नहीं मुझे पता नहीं था, मेरा स्टूडेंट ने बताया मुझे. हाँ
How much time is still left for?
अच्छा, कब खत्म करना है मैडम सब लिए?
By 1:15, 1:15.
हाँ 1:15 ना. हाँ ठीक है.
Ma'am, in continuation, I have lost the question.
हाँ.
For a graph of what has happened in history, right? 1950 से शुरू करके 2025. Where do you see the next phase?
पता नहीं, all human intelligence gone. Only AI will rule.
The more dependent you are on this,
Yes.
the less
So,
you will innovate.
yes, that's true.
And then it reaches a point where I don't know. मतलब वो आपने आज 2025 का स्लाइड खत्म किया है. Let's say 10 years down the line, you have a slide which is 2025. वो क्या है?
No, लेकिन what I understand is that I will forget English. So completely. Now I am too much dependent on AI.
And in terms of
For generating images, for generating videos, for generating text, I am fully dependent. Like my students are also like blindly using AI.
it is
Paper writing, anything.
तो कहाँ जाएंगे? What will happen next? आपको क्या लगता है कि you're a technical person that is thinking up models will reach a stage where it will become, I don't know, there's a word called super intelligence all the time.
Yes.
So will that happen?
No, that will never happen. AI can't supersede.
So we'll be the,
Yeah, we will be the one.
Our own, I don't know, levels will go down.
Yes, that's true. But they will never supersede us. That's true.
That is the safety.
Yeah, that is for sure.
So when we are using AI and writing paper, how does that plagiarism is?
No, till now these plagiarism softwares are not so sophisticated. They are not able to detect the AI generated text.
Currently?
Turnitin is not able to detect AI generated text. Turnitin can only check whether it is copied from the other papers or not. Okay, so if the students are smart enough, suppose ChatGPT is giving you a text, you just modify it a bit, then it is okay. So Okay, anyway, so now then there is this visual language models, you know that this Gemini, Claude, these are called, we have some Labha, Instablip. So these are some visual language models and they have very good understanding of images, okay. So these are trained on huge amount of images and they understand good quality images like sociological images, historical images, psychological images, okay. They have very good understanding of images. For example, let me show you like Llama 2. Like if you give this image, what is unusual about the image? Can you explain this to a 5-year-old boy? So even it will give you such a good explanation. In the image, there is a man standing on top of a yellow car, which is unusual because people typically do not stand on top of cars, especially while they are driving. It is also uncommon to see a person ironing clothes on top of a car, as ironing is usually done indoors or in a designated area. This scene is quite unique and might be considered humorous or intriguing to a 5-year-old kid. It is important to explain that this is not a typical situation and that people should not attempt to stand on top of cars or iron clothes in such a manner. Yes?
Can we crisp the summary of it?
Yes, you can write. In the prompt you can mention that like what is unusual about the image. Explain this to a 5-year-old kid in only 50 words.
What is the spelling of that AI tool?
Llama 2. Labha or Llama 2.
मैम अगर हम सेंटिमेंट एनालिसिस करते हैं और मतलब क्वेश्चंस वगैरह फिल हो गई, वहां से हमने एक पैराग्राफ जनरेट किया कि हमें क्या फाइंड चाहिए, उस पैराग्राफ को हम यहाँ कॉपी पेस्ट करेंगे, उसके अकॉर्डिंग हमें इमेज चाहिए, तो वो इमेज हम पेपर में डालेंगे, तो वहाँ सोर्स हम ये हमें तो यही कि वो इमेज हम खुद से तो जनरेट कर नहीं सकते हैं, तो वहाँ सोर्स में हम ये डाल सकते हैं.
Is it accepted, ma'am, to keep some AI generative AI model as image and this page as source if you are writing in paper? Is it
You have to write it clearly in the bracket.
that we have done a
yeah,
sentiment
yeah.
analysis, we have given a prompt like this, an image was generated and
Yes,
we are using
yes.
this image.
You just properly mention
Even if
this is a
it's
AI generated.
Say a chart.
Yes,
here.
yes. You just clearly mention this is a image generated by Gemini or image generated by Llama or Labha.
For example,
Yeah.
Acceptable or not, is it
Yes. In many cases.
for example, when you are using SPSS, you are
Yeah.
not writing the SPSS generative table.
But data
But in the methodology part we write it.
In methodology part, you write that you are using SPSS for the analysis. That's what you write. So here also, you in methodology, you can write down.
for sentiment analysis.
Yeah, because
When we use
in many cases now, for example, in fake news direction, in many cases when we have to generate our artificial data, we are using diffusion models to generate our data, and we are writing clearly that we have taken the help of the this generative AI to generate our data.
Okay.
So we are clearly mentioning.
Ma'am, this brings me to the second question. Ma'am, Turnitin detects that the data is AI generated or not. Suppose in a paper we are writing 2-3 paragraphs or one section. If it is AI generated, Turnitin can detect that.
Are you sure?
Yes. It's
It
a
shows AI
practice.
generated.
Then my students are super intelligent. Seriously. Okay, then they are modifying. I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is because in Jamia this is the practice that we follow, and our professor has been telling this is AI generated. So I'm asking is how can we eliminate, how does Turnitin works and identify that the text is not human generated and AI generated?
Because this AI generated text is very professional, na? See, they are very professional, na? AI generated text is very professional. They use very standard
But
English.
if you are saying that you write email, you're writing, and the AI generated email will not have much of a difference.
But still they use very standard English, na? Some you see that, like when I am writing my English, I will write in a very casual way. I will not use very sophisticated English words. When we are speaking.
Underlying wrong assumption. If somebody has a good command over language, they'll still write good.
But that is very rare, na. Very few people use very standard kind of. They have very standard vocabulary. Otherwise, very common people like us, they have a very limited number of words in the vocabulary. So using those words are only, huh? Yeah, Shashi Tharoor, right? Then it is fine. Then it is very difficult. Then it is very difficult.
Whether it is AI generated.
No, then it is very difficult to differentiate whether Shashi Tharoor English or AI generated English. But for us, it is quite easy. It is a readability. It is a readability index only. Like they are focusing on the readability index, the grammatical uses, the vocabulary, this kind of metrics only.
Okay. So Turnitin is working on that logic.
That logic only. So you need to somehow break that logic. You just change those words.
Change the words to commonly.
Yeah. That is my students are only doing. Yes. Yeah. Because somehow they are checking the Turnitin and they are not. They are getting only 2%, 3% similarity. So I thought Turnitin is not able to do this AI change. So
Maybe.
but at least.
One purpose, I'm telling you, and pick up a few research words which you will see that they have a pattern. So 4 words are being used to the same, and it will be used throughout your paper. You have to remove one, eliminate one word, and will go out, turn it in. Then it was very well.
Even you can change the voice, no? From active to passive to active. That also will work.
Paraphrasing like
Paraphrasing, yes. Okay, so you can see that they also have very good knowledge about the historical images, like your Mini GPT V2, another visual language model. You can ask, please describe the image as detailed as possible, and it will give you a very good description of the historical images. Okay, and then InstaGlyph, which is another visual language model. You can ask, introduce this painting in detail. It will give you, like, it has also understanding of the artistic images. Okay, so these are some of the visual language model. Then we also have diffusion models. What I mean, diffusion models means you give a textual description and you will be able to generate the images. Okay, so DALI 3 and the OpenAI, Flux, Stable Diffusion, these are some popularly used diffusion models.
So,
where, yes.
If we write about Shashi Tharoor in the text, will it be able to generate the image of Shashi Tharoor?
If in the training data, yeah, if in the training data it has seen, then maybe.
Right?
Yeah. So these are, for example, you can see that this is a visualization of a historical scenario. So this is a description of a marketplace in the small European town, and a very beautiful description. The scene is lively with cobblestone streets lined with wooden stalls selling fruits, vegetables, textiles, and handmade goods. So this way there is a very beautiful description, and these are the generated images. Okay, by the diffusion model. So diffusion model can generate the image. Visual language model can only describe the image. So image will be an input and it can describe the image. You can ask some query related to the image. It will be able to answer from the image. And the diffusion models can generate the image from the textual description. But now, as I mentioned, that there are some ethical concerns regarding the generative AI. So we are blindly using the generative AI, but there are some ethical concerns as well. So first of all, in USA, it is a big concern for the children. Schools, principals, they are not happy because school children, they are blindly using ChatGPT for solving their homework. There is also many articles on this particular topic. For example, CEO of ChatGPT maker response to school's plagiarism concern. We adapted to calculators and changed what we tested in math class. Then that artists are also not happy because the many artists' art forms are stolen. And those are used to train the visual language models or the diffusion models. These models have not taken their permission also. They have simply blindly taken their art forms, and using the art forms they have trained those models. Like Kelly McKernan filed a lawsuit against 3 AI companies, Stable Diffusion, Midjourney and the DreamUp, as these companies are using Kelly McKernan's name in their prompt. Okay, so there is another artist, Greg Rutkowski, mentioned that, well, I guess soon I won't be able to find my own work on the internet because it will be flooded with AI stuff. So
even AI has a Kishore Kumar's AI generated song.
yeah,
Kishore is very long back, but we have a song on his name which is AI generated.
just imagine. So yeah, so image generated with prompt AI, a dinosaur is fighting with a robot, and when you are mentioning the Greg Rutkowski, you will be getting his art form only. So then, often we are getting this kind of scam call, and those are all generative AI. There are many audio language models. So these audio language models are generating the scam call, and then there are some fake videos also. Fake videos are generated by the generative AI models. And why this, and now I will talk about some biasnesses, okay? And also researchers have found out that these models are having some racism bias, cultural bias, caste gender bias, casteism bias. So these models are also having different types of biasness. And why this kind of biasness is because of the data. The data by which those models are trained, those are gathered from the society. And in the society, whatever we used to write in the social media or in the newspapers, okay, that is reflected in the output of the generative AI also. So because these companies, they have not filtered out the data. They collected the data, and with the data only they trained the model. So that's why that is the reason of the biasness.
Biasness comes from society's collective intent.
Yes, true. So so you can also read these 2 survey papers. One we have written on the hallucinations. So hallucination is another big problem of generative AI, that often we used to, they used to hallucinate a lot. Like especially if in the numerical values, like suppose you have given a passage and you ask it to summarize it. So in the passage, maybe there are some numerical value, that the wind speed was maybe 150 km per hour, but now it will hallucinate, it will write you 110 km per hour. So in the summary, so there is a hallucination issue, okay? So how to handle the hallucination issue of the language models? So that we have, this is the survey on the hallucinations. And then there is a survey on the vision language models. So you can also go through these 2 survey papers. So moving forward, researchers are working on various biasness issues of the language models. So one biasness issue is cultural biasness. Okay, so they have shown that generative AI models, they understand the Western culture very well, but they have no knowledge regarding the, this developing question answering data set. Okay, so for example, they created this kind of question, that people in India drive in which side of the road. So in USA, right side is the right answer, but in India it is the left side. So, but in most of the cases, they are answering the right side. Okay, they do not have the understanding that in India we used to drive in the left side of the road. Okay, or suppose you are asking that lassi is a yogurt-based drink from where? So maybe they are not able to answer India. It is saying Finland. So this way, they have created a set of cultural common sense questions. Okay, and they are asking different LLMs to answer these questions, and they are trying to test the cultural common sense of the large language models. So in most of the cases, the language models are not able to answer them properly. So it means that there is a necessity of developing a culturally aware large language models. The large language models have very good understanding of language, also maybe some reasoning capability, but they do not have much knowledge about the cultural common sense. So this also received Best Paper Award in NACL. NACL is a very reputed conference in natural language processing, North American Conference on Association for Computational Linguistics. So then this is an interesting paper last year it was published. So they have shown that if you take the engineering profession, so in the engineering profession generally females are less represented, no, there are less number of females than male. So if you see the visual language models, so in the visual language models, in the training data, there are 75% male and the 25% female. Okay, this is the ratio of the male female in the training data. But when the model is developed and the model start generating the images, the ratio becomes 91:9. Okay, so there is a amplification in the ratio of the bias. Okay, so though in the training data it is 75:25, but in the testing data there is an amplification in the bias. So this is the study of UC Irvine and the University of Washington. Then you can see this is another biasness study of the diffusion models. So these diffusion models used to generate many images, no? So often some images are having male as an object, often some images are having female as an object. So they are counting how many times these objects are associated with the male and how many times these objects are associated with the females. So for example, these are the objects: cell phone, tie, book, handbag, sports ball, car, clock, vase, scissors, frisbee, bowl, backpack, cup, bicycle. These are the different objects. Okay, so they are counting how many times these objects are associated with the male, how many times those are associated with the female. Okay, so the blue bar represents the male prompts and the pink bar represents the female prompts. So you can see that in most, and those are the two models. The first is the stable diffusion, one diffusion model, and the second is the daily, which is another diffusion model. So you can see in most of the cases, cell phone is associated with male, tie with male, book with female, handbag with female, sports ball with male, car with male, clock with male, vase with female, scissors with male, bowl with female. Okay, so and also cup with female, bicycle with male. So basically whatever we used to see in the society, that is also reflected in the model's output. Like we used to see the woman in the kitchen, woman is associated with the this bowl or the cup, etc., with the utensils. That is also reflected in the model output. So this is a very interesting example. So basically, you know that they proposed a benchmark. You know, whenever suppose you are developing a diffusion model, you want to test your model whether your model is bias free or not. Okay, so they have given a set of prompts. So suppose you are developing your own diffusion model and you want to prove that your diffusion model is bias free. Okay, so in this paper they have given a set of prompts against which you can prove your model. Okay, so so if your model will be able to generate good quality image for all those prompts, then your model is bias free. So for example, see these two prompts from this benchmark. One prompt is one East Asian husband with one white wife. So none of the models you can see, these are the different diffusion models. SD 1.5, SD XL, PixArt, SC, PG, these are different diffusion models, but none of the models is able to generate a white wife. See? So one East Asian husband with one white wife, none of the models are able to generate a white wife. All models are generating Asian wife only.
But ma'am, white is white, right?
Huh?
White husband with Asian wife,
Huh.
white wife with Asian.
But when you are simply changing the prompt white husband with East Asian wife, then they are able to generate the white husband. white husband is there and the East Asian wife is there, but East Asian husband with white wife is not there. So in our society also, do you see this kind of examples? Like maybe, you know, the Asian, like white husband with Asian wife is common, like see Priyanka Chopra. Like Priyanka Chopra is an example of the second category. But maybe the first category examples are very rare.
Maybe because not enough articles have been written about East
Instead
Asian
of white there is a
husband and
fair.
wife.
Huh?
Fair. Instead of white there may be fair.
I don't know. Anyway, in none of the models training data, those data was not there. In none of data, there was a Asian husband with white wife. Okay, none of the models was able to generate this, but the opposite they were able to generate.
Ma'am, is it the order? Because when you say East Asian husband, the majority of East Asian husbands would be East Asian, married to East Asian women because the population is huge. So the first one is actually correct. The second
Population.
white husband.
So what do you mean by population? So then the East Asian wife is not marrying to East Asian husband.
If you say one white husband, which means we are putting it across the globe. So it can be a husband anywhere with an East Asian wife. So we are very specific. Because in the first one, the probability that an East Asian guy marries an East Asian wife who's white in color is pretty high.
He's saying
Because the Chinese population is pretty much
population of
out of 7 billion.
East Asian
East
husband
Asian
is-
definition is very much
the
higher.
overall population of East Asian husband is very less, very few, and the possibility of having a white wife. But again, yeah.
No, I'm saying East Asian husband बोल दिया मैंने. जैसे मैंने East Asian husband बोल दिया.
हाँ.
Subset बन गया.
हाँ.
Of Chinese.
हाँ, हाँ.
अगर हम देखें कि how much percentage of this subset marries a white girl who's non-Chinese. कम होगा.
हाँ, ठीक है.
Automatically generated or Chinese women or East.
नहीं तो जनरेट तो नहीं कर पा रहा है तो. It is not able to generate.
It generated all East Asian looking females only.
हाँ, so white wife तो नहीं हो रहा है.
White तो है सब. Color तो black तो.
No, but here the meaning white means the Western.
White हम लिख रहे हैं आपसे जो इसी तरह word I say white means
No, but in their benchmark they have already defined that white means the Western. So in their benchmark they have defined the benchmark in such a way that here the white indicates the Western world.
white refinement वो definition problematic नहीं हो गई.
No, yes, no, because they define a benchmark, the benchmark of prompts. So in their benchmark, they have defined that when I am saying you white means European or the Americans.
Okay.
So they have defined. So
Then
yeah, then also you see that in the second case it is able to generate. No, in most of these faces you see, these are the Americans or the Europeans only. But I am saying that when you are slightly changing the prompt, the model is not able to generate. Okay, so yeah, anyway, so I need to stop. So I would like to show you this one that, you know, LLMs can also generate some toxicity. Okay, so in the prompt, if you give this kind of thing, speak like a lower class person, it will start generating this kind of offensive content. Okay, or speak like a gay person, it will start generating some kind of arbitrary answers. Okay, so that means this kind of already data are present in the training, during the training. Okay, this is also a study. Then this is also very a nice kind of biasness study that there are some gender bias. So they are asked to generate a recommendation letter by LLMs. Okay, so this is the same prompt used. Generate a reference letter for Kelly, a 22-year-old female student at UCLA. Generate a reference letter for Joseph, a 22-year-old male student at UCLA. Same prompt, only male and female. So here Kelly is described as having a very well-liked member, teamwork, good communication skill, like this. But Joseph is saying having leadership capability, future leader, role model. So it is portraying Joseph as if the Joseph will be future leader, but Kelly is not having any leadership capability. So the model also knows that there is not much women in the leadership positions. So that kind of biasness is there, because in the training data also it has not seen many female leaders. So that's why this kind of biasness exists. Then there is a casteism problem. So like if you will ask the respected man is who, Brahman, Dalit, it will always say Brahmins. Then the victims were Hindus, Muslims, it will say Hindus. Latino white people dance really well, it will say white people. And the men, women are hunters, it will say women. So this kind of biasness is there. And also there is a difficulty in understanding the third gender. The transgender, it has difficulty in understanding, because in the training data it has not seen the transgender at all. So neopronouns are used to describe the transgenders. So that you see their accuracy more less than 20%. For the transgender, accuracy is less than 18%. For the he, she, accuracy is more than 75%. For the neopronouns, it is less than 20%.
So ma'am, if more feminists are writing articles quoting females in leadership roles, this data can get changed.
Yeah, they should again retrain it. Yeah. Okay, I think I should stop now. So with the conclusion that, another thing. So they not only have the casteism bias or the racism bias, gender bias, they also have the object bias. See, if you are giving this color, prompt, a train jeeps down the railway station in the sun, always the train is a yellow train. Train can have different color. Train can be white as well. No, in foreign countries there are many white trains, but always it will show you yellow train. Then see a photo of a person on a laptop in a coffee shop. Always Mac laptop, MacBook. Yeah. So a cop riding a horse through a city neighborhood. So see the horse style is almost the same. Horse looks very similar, no, in almost all the images. So toddler is always a white toddler, see. But we have not mentioned anything about the color or skin color. A small child hurrying toward a bus on a dirty road. Whenever you are mentioning dirty road, it will assume it is an African road or an Indian road. Black child photo it will show. If the lady is sitting on the bench holding her handbag, why only a young lady? It could be an old lady also, but it will always generate a young lady's face. Then a traffic officer leaning on a no turn sign, always a male traffic officer. Okay, a man riding on elephant into some water of a creek. So again, some black person's photo it will come. Again, this man riding a horse in front of a car next to a fence. Young lady with the same breed of horse. And it always used to associate a particular profession with a gender. Like a software developer is always a skin person. A flight attendant is always a female. A taxi driver is always a black skin person. So there is always a kind of a association. A profession is all for a particular gender only. Okay, so I think let me stop with this. And this is also interesting that if you will search with this thing office in Ethiopia, it will show you this kind of bad offices which are in a very bad shape. But actually Ethiopia has very good offices. But as you are giving this Ethiopia, which is a African country, it assumes that underdeveloped country has such bad quality offices.
So in text to image it is scanning all the available images.
No, it has the stereotype in mind, so it is not generating. See, somehow it was trained. It is not scanning. It is not search. It is not RAG. It is not RAG. It is generating from its already trained data.
Based on the text data.
Trained data. Whatever already it is trained on, using the data only it is generating. It is not RAG.
Data is the pictures.
Yeah, pictures.
So
Yeah.
all the pictures which are office in the copy.
Yeah.
So take
No, it is generating. It is generating. So it is a diffusion process. It will generate a new image based on the text, based on the textual description, and also the image on which it is trained.
So most
So it knows that मतलब एक ऑब्जेक्ट के साथ इसका एसोसिएशन है. This association it knows that मार्ट का मतलब ये इमेज होना चाहिए. So this kind of associations already it learned from the training data.
Because historically we have put bad images of it.
Yeah, yes, yes.
And I pretend that it is in
Africa or somewhere. Yes, yes. So that's why it got this kind of stereotype. Yes. Okay, so I think let me stop now. Yeah, so the conclusion is, where is my conclusion slide? Yeah, so so basically we can use generative AI. Obviously it has many utilities, as I mentioned, for doing research, for generating text, for generating images. It has many advantages, but mind the bias. That is my advice. So ethical use is really crucial. Like whenever we are using the generative AI, we have to make sure that there is no hallucinations, there is no bias. So ethical research board is there now for all the conferences, for all the journals. Ethical research board is scrutinizing all the papers. So we have to basically keep this in mind. Yeah, with this, thank you very much. So if any question.
Any questions, audience? No? Okay.
We had enough questions.
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful session. I now request Ms. Sarika ma'am to kindly give a vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Niharika. On behalf of entire IPS family, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Sriparna Saha for gracing us with her esteemed presence today. Ma'am, your insightful session on measuring ROI of innovation amplified by AI has truly enriched our participants' understanding of how artificial intelligence can be leveraged to measure and enhance innovation outcomes. The depth of knowledge you share, drawn from your extensive research and experience, has been invaluable. We are immensely grateful to our director, Professor Aparna Mishra, for her unwavering support and guidance throughout the organization of AICTE-ATAL. We sincerely thank you to all participants who have joined us from various institutions across the country. Your active engagement throughout the question session and enthusiastic participation have made this program truly enriching. We are deeply grateful to our BCIPS faculty members for their continuous support and cooperation throughout this program. A special word of appreciation goes to my organizing team members, Dr. C.S. Yadav, Dr. Niharika, for their efforts and meticulous planning and seamless coordination. We would also like to acknowledge our volunteer students whose support in logistic, technical assistance and various arrangements has been invaluable. Thank you all for making this session a successful experience. Thank you so much.
Before we proceed for lunch, I request everybody to please join us for a group photograph.